Down in Dallas back in the 60s, there was this guy who was remarkable. His name was Zig Ziglar. Many of you have heard of him. One of the things Zig used to do when an audience would come together in a room, he'd say, raise your hand as high as you can. And people would raise their hand. Then he would say to them, raise it higher. And what he would find is that they could. And he'd ask them, I just told you to raise it as high as you can, and you did, and yet you could go even further. What he was talking about, the concept, in my words at least, not his, discretionary effort. People will go 100% in their minds, but at times now what we need them to do is go a little bit further. In the workplace today, everybody's being asked to do more with less. It's not unusual. Your place is being asked to do it. Our place is being asked to do it. Everybody's being asked to do it. I got to tell you, there's a part of it that's the American work ethic. We've got to suck it up. We've got to work harder. We've got to put out more. The rest of the world's kicking our butt. And you know what? We've had it kind of cush for a while. We've got to get over that. In the workplace today, you need discretionary effort from your employees. You need people to go above and beyond. Well, all the studies are out. All the science is behind it. We know what it takes to get people to give discretionary effort. Let me tell you, for people to raise their hand as high as they can and then go even higher, two things have to be present. The first thing is they have to know you're competent. Have you ever worked for somebody and you liked the person and you were behind the person and you were eager to help the person and you were all over the job, and yet 6 months, 9 months, 12 months, 24 months into it, the excitement starts to wane because you realize this person can't do it. This person can't get there. I did that once. I worked for somebody, wonderful human being. But you know what? They weren't going to move forward, not in the way the organization needed to move. All of a sudden, if you work with somebody and you find out they can't do it, they are not competent to lead in the change that needs to take place, you know what happens? You start to pull back. Instead of as high as you can, it's as high as you need to. And you start to become a little disheartened. So, you have to be competent. The second part is people have to know that you care. Have you ever worked in an organization where the person didn't even really know your name? Have you ever worked in an organization where the person was simply moving ahead for themselves and using everybody around them in order to do that? I once worked for a person who said, I expect you to do it right. You'll only hear from me when you do it wrong. You know what? That's not a great environment. Person didn't care about the people at work, only cared about the results at work. So the question is, what does it mean to be competent today? And how do you show people that you really care about them? Some of the best competencies today is asking the question, I don't know, what do you think? Some of the best ways to be competent today is to get your group together and say, hey, we're stuck. What solutions do you have? Some of the best competencies you have is to constantly reevaluate and revamp your strategies to make sure it's in alignment with the current situation. Are you hiring talent? Better talent than yourself? Are you listening to people, asking for their ideas? By the way, just as a little side, when you have a new employee, that's the best time in the world to find out what doesn't make sense in your organization. Listen, ask, seek. Typically what happens is we say, wait 6 months, then you'll understand. 6 months later, they're part of the problem. They're part of the system. Let them ask, let them speak, let them question right up front. That's part of being competent today, is to be able to allow other people to lend their eyes, their ears, their minds to your job, to your situation, to your team. As far as letting people know you care, do you know what excites them? Do you know what motivates them? Do you know what they want to do with their career? Do you know what their biggest struggle is outside of work? It's not that you get into their business. It's not that you get into their life. It's not that you bring drama into the workplace. Do you know why they're working? Do you know where they want to go? Do you know what it is that they need to be successful? Here's my promise to you. If indeed you show people that you're competent, meaning that you're willing to listen, you're willing to ask, you're willing to learn, and if at the same time you'll show them that you care, that you know who they are, that they're real people who matter to you, what you'll get, they'll start raising their hand as high as they can, and then they'll raise it even higher. Good luck bringing out discretionary effort in your people.